It has Hugh Jackman in it. Has to be good, right? Right? Oh god.
Oh my god!
Hey. Awful. Pan tells the origin story of Peter Pan. It also shows how a young Captain Hook and Peter Pan are friends and they actually work together to defeat the evil Bluebeard, this evil pirate that basically just steals kids in the middle of the night, takes them to Neverland, makes them mine for the precious pixie dust that he uses behind closed doors to keep himself looking young, fresh, and like Hugh Jackman instead of a skeleton with some skin. It also shows how Peter was left at an orphanage as a small child, and it shows how the natives of Neverland took him in and he became a lost boy. Hugh Jackman was actually really good as Bluebeard. It's kind of interesting to see him as a villain instead of the likable good guy that we're so used to seeing him as, and he was pretty good given the lines that he had to read. Seriously, some of the script is just sloppy, and that was like my biggest problem with this film. Levi Miller, another Australian actor, played Peter Pan. He's a child actor, he's 13 years old. He was really good in this, considering his age and considering that this was his first big main role. I think that he has a bright future, really. I mean, if he's already starring in a film as big as this when he's 13, you got a bright future, kid. I'm saying kid, but I'm 3 years older than that. He was decent in the first half, but I feel like in the second half of the movie, where more of the emotional scenes are and more of the serious scenes are, he was really good. Garrett Hedlund played a young Captain Hook, and wow, I mean, for the most part, he played it well, but I feel like he still overplayed it. He sounded like the love child of Jack Nicholson from The Shining and Nicolas Cage in Vampire's Kiss. And that's not a good thing for once. I mean, yes, some of his lines weren't very well written, like most of this movie, and like most of the characters. That's pretty much the only fault that I can find in a lot of this. But it's just, I don't know, I didn't like how he played it. Cara is at the top of the IMDb list for this movie, but I don't feel like that's fair, because she played 3 mermaids that are CGI and had her face pasted onto them. She didn't even have a line. It was just her blank, expressionless face on 3 mermaids. I swear to God, she just went into a room for 5 seconds. Well, like, okay, take my picture and give me a paycheck. Oh, cool, she's a big name actor. They have her on some of the posters. That must mean that she has lines. She doesn't. Amanda Seyfried was also really good as Peter's mother, Mary. I liked her performance in this. I thought she was great. I'm a really big fan of practical special effects, especially in high-budget movies, because they most likely always look awesome. But even I can take my elitist goggles off and just talk about this and say, yes, I can admit when CGI is better to use, and I can admit when CGI is really good. But oh god, there's some bad CGI in here. And I'm not talking about Sharknado bad. I'm just talking about things that brought me out of the movie. There's a chase scene of many where Peter, Hook, and Tiger Lily are running away from these 2, like, skeleton bird things, and the CGI honestly looked like they were out of an early PS3 game, and I'm like, that would have been so cool to see them as actual practical effects, and I would have loved to see them get chased. But, like, massive, just bird puppets, that would have been awesome, but, you know, they didn't, and it was pretty bad. The 2 musical parts in this movie, yes, I know, made me uncomfortable, just because they were weird and out of place. Like, for example, when Blackbeard is first introduced, all of his slave children just start singing the Entertain Us part from Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Blackbeard joins in, jumps in on a pole, and goes like, "Entertain us!" And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I get that, you know, Hugh Jackman can sing, but this doesn't showcase his singing. It doesn't really develop the character. There's 2 musical scenes, the second of which I have completely erased from my mind, probably for better ideas, and I have no idea why they're in there. The humor was really hit and miss. I mean, there were a couple that I had a soft little quiet laugh at.
Well, the princess, I presume.
Oh, well, I'm actually just a minor, but I appreciate the compliment.
Bishop.
But for most of them, I was like, was that it? I mean, there was one person in the cinema that consistently laughed at all of the jokes, and they were very loud. Very. Like, oh, someone gets punched in the face, everybody's just quiet. Then someone went like, ha! That was it. I was like, okay. Also, Blackbeard's costume. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, the costume design is nice, but the wig? It's like, okay, that looks so much like a fake wig, but then later on when we find out that Blackbeard is actually like an old aging man and he needs pixie dust and a wig to hide that, it made more sense why it looks like a wig, but I'm like, what? What is happening? I really liked the sets and the practical parts of this movie, even though the green screening and the CGI sometimes can be quite obvious. I really wish we could have seen Hook's, you know, origin story, and we could have seen his spiral into madness. I also want an explanation why he was in Neverland, because he does say, oh, I've been here forever, but he doesn't actually say why he's like 20 years old when every other person in Neverland is like 8. Explain that, Obama. At the end of the movie, there's some really obvious foreshadowing that points to, you know, Captain Hook going crazy and like, oh, we're gonna be the best of friends, aren't we? What could possibly go wrong? And I get that that's funny. I honestly laughed at that. But I really do want to see a solo Hook movie. Or a sequel to this movie. And I know that that sounds wrong, and I know that that sounds weird, but I would really like to see a more mature Hook movie. I feel like if you cast it right, it would be awesome. Like, you don't even need Peter Pan in the story, you just need the crocodile, you just need some clocks. Maybe he worked in a clock factory, huh? I don't know. The message behind Pan, like most Peter Pan movies, I'm pretty sure all Peter Pan movies, is if you believe in yourself, you can do anything. I like that message. I think it's a nice message, especially for a kid's movie. Oh my god, I just realized that Hook sounds like Hulk Hogan. Oh, the Hook brother. What you gonna do when you fight the biggest hook in town, brother? The directing is good. The script isn't amazing. The acting is good, but, you know, it gets let down a lot by the script if you're actually listening to the people. The fight scenes drag on way too much, and the special effects can be disappointing. Overall, it's a decently fun little family movie, and I recommend, if you're going to see a movie with your family, either see Oddball or this, because there's nothing else on for you right now. Those are your only choices. Or you sit in and watch MVP, Most Valuable Primate, on Netflix. Actually, yeah, I'd suggest that. Do that instead. I recommend this movie to family, and Pan doesn't get my seal of approval just because I wouldn't watch it again, and I probably wouldn't buy it for $10. Anyway, it gets a 6 out of 10. It's decent, but there are better choices, you know? That script, though. Have you guys seen this movie? What did you think? Do you have any other ideas for reviews that I have to do? Don't think that your breath and finger energy is wasted commenting, because I actually do read all of them, and I do put all of your suggestions in a list in my notes. I have probably like 150 at least. Not just from you guys, but from finding terrible shark movies at 4 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and happy watching.